first guest on the show is from Grey's Anatomy, Jason George. Welcome to the program, sir.
What's up? How you feeling?
We're doing good. We're doing good. So we're going to jump into a couple of topics here. Talk about the experience on being on Grey's Anatomy and what that's been like.
Man, come on. in the world of winning the lottery, being on any show is winning the lottery. Being on the Shonda Rhimes show is winning a lottery of lotteries. Because you can be on a show and have a boss that doesn't care about your family, doesn't care about what your life is like. But Shonda's definitely of that, that new school. And I believe that there are others, like J.J. Abrams, for all I've seen. And I've worked for other people that were like that, who truly believe that you can do good and do well at the same time. So that's on the personal tip. In terms of the work, Shonda Rhimes and her writers are so mad smart. They write words that you love to say. They give you stuff that you're like, really? We gonna go there? And so for an actor, it's like an actor's dream. The stuff you get to do, and then on top of it, on the personal side, they actually create an atmosphere where everybody loves coming to work. It's a great set. We have a good time. They try and make sure that everybody has a chance that, if there's something you're trying to really dying to do, she'll bend over backwards to make it happen, because she believes that, happy people at work produce better work. And so for me, I just wish more of Hollywood picked up her lead. She's the one who, she wasn't the first showrunner to really put significant diversity in her shows, but I will say she more or less perfected that. Because damn, if everybody isn't riding her model right now.
We're talking with Jason George here from Grey's Anatomy. The election's on everybody's mind. So just talk a little bit about who you're supporting, why you're supporting them, and so on.
Look, I have been a supporter of Hillary Clinton's from early, like from the primaries, and I could not be more emphatic about it now. If you've even been near TV or radio, you've seen the meltdown that's happening on the other side, and it's because if you build an entire campaign built on dividing the country and separating peoples and hatred and fear, then I got to believe that's going to fall apart eventually, because I fundamentally don't believe that's who we are as a people. We're at a time right now in this country where I feel like there's a lot of people see it as unrest. I'm more optimistic than that. I see the whole social justice movement, all of that, as people getting honest. You know what I mean?
Right.
People are refusing to kind of accept the way things have been, and so they're speaking out what they truly believe. And for me, Hillary Clinton got in the race. The speech that she used to announce that she was running for president was a speech about the need for social justice reform, acknowledging that there's institutional racism, talking about implicit bias, all these things that, for lack of a better phrase, Trump and the people he runs with, Rudy Giuliani, can't even bring themselves to say the words Black Lives Matter in that order. And for me, that's a problem, because if you can't diagnose that problem, how can I possibly expect you to help me fix it? And so the fact that Hillary came in the race that way, to me, made a real statement. And then the more I found out about her, the more I found out she's been involved in essentially social justice and equality and being on the side of mothers and children since the beginning. When she was in her 20s, fresh out of law school, she went undercover. She went undercover to help expose a plot in Alabama to resegregate schools using the private school system. Basically, young white kids would get vouchers to get into the private school, but black kids would not. Next thing you know, all the public schools would be black and brown kids, and the private schools would be all white. And she went undercover to help expose that. So from the beginning, she's gotten it. And she's also understood, gun violence is something that we've truly got to get around to handling, because, it disproportionately affects black and brown people. So for me, that's been a huge piece of why I started supporting her from the get-go. Then you get down to she gets that, college needs to be affordable. She wants kids to be able to go to college and not have to be $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 in debt when they get out. She was trying to make a real plan that could go forward. You hear nothing about that from the Trump campaign. So there's a number of things that, for me, that she gets the needs of where people are at today, and she also gets the social and cultural issues that we're dealing with today. So for me, that's why I've been out, going. And the more I found out about Trump, to be perfectly honest, the more it's become a mission. I was pro-Hillary, but I've become vehemently, vociferously anti-Trump. Just because, it's real, right? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. and so I've just been on a personal mission that, for me personally, I'm disgusted by the idea that he thinks that because he's a billionaire, if he's a billionaire, which, by the way, I don't know that he is. I mean, I know he lost $1 billion, but I don't know what he's worth right now because we have no tax returns to talk about it. But I'm just disgusted at the idea that he thinks because he is wealthy, that he feels like that he must be right about everything. That because he's wealthy, he feels like he can do anything, which is another version of what we're seeing show up now with these women that are showing up. He feels like he's entitled to this. And for me, I just find that disgusting. So for me, I'm like, no, I get that you're wealthy, and that's all well and good. I will never begrudge anybody the money they've earned or were born into. But that don't make you better than anybody else. And it certainly doesn't mean that you don't have to earn this job. You have to earn this job, and you can't do it by sowing seeds of fear. For me, that's the problem. I need people uniting people. That's what Barack Obama did, was talk about trying to unite people as best he could. And I think Hillary Clinton will do more of that.
We're talking with Jason George, absolutely, from Grey's Anatomy. And E. Will has a question for you.
Okay, so in doing
Did I get you up in the pulpit?
No, no, we, you know what? We've been on this ride for the election for the last, few months too, and we've ranted and raved as well. So we totally understand where you're coming from.
Even as far back as when he first even announced that he was going to be running for president, and everybody thought it was a joke. We had a lot of fun at his expense back then.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke too. I thought it was hilarious. I still have friends who are convinced that he's a plot, that he was a plant from the Clinton campaign to help make sure that Hillary won.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They're like, he's secretly in there because he's such a horrible candidate. No way and yet here we are. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so in doing some of my research, I've seen a lot of your work and whatnot personally, but I was looking at your Twitter the other night, and I noticed a tweet that you had put out. It was something about the Dedicate Your No Trump vote. I took some time. I did read your dedication, and I really enjoyed reading that. For those who don't know what the Dedicate Your No Trump vote movement is about, explain to us what it is and who you dedicated yours to and why.
Well, my wife, Vandana Khanna, is a poet, and she's East Indian. She's an immigrant. She came here when she was 2. Her friend Juliana Baggett created a website called Dedicate Your No Vote, your No Trump Vote. DedicateYourNoTrumpVote.com, and it's basically a place where you go and you explain why you are dedicated to voting no to Donald Trump. I explained to you why I'm in favor of voting yes to Hillary Clinton, but my no Trump vote was, I was raised by a single mother. I'm one of 3 black boys. She had 3 black sons. And statistically speaking, the big statistic everybody throws out is 1 in 3 black men will be in jail during their lifetime. So theoretically, one of my mother's 2 other sons should be in jail, and yet we're not. One, I'm disgusted that statistic exists, but then on top of it, the reason why I think in certain instances why it doesn't, and why I believe it truly can break down, is because there are mothers and fathers, but definitely mothers out there who are just getting it done, just sacrificing themselves. My mother working 2 jobs at one point in time, a single mother, making sure that they personally break what's called the school to prison pipeline. That for a lot of black youth, you go to school and disproportionately get in trouble in school. And just like it is in the ultimate, law enforcement system, a black child may be disciplined more harshly for the exact same offense than a white child, and next thing you know, they get expelled from school sooner, and next thing you know, they're on a track for ending up in prison. That stops with parents, first and foremost. Then that stops with, single mothers, if they happen to be single mothers or parents. Any way you cut it, you need that village, and you build around them. My mother put people around us that were fantastic human beings. My Aunt Montrose ran the preschool that we went to. She was in our lives. She's still in our lives. My children, I still bring them to see her when we get back in Virginia. It's that those people break that down because they recognize that it takes all of us to raise some kids. And so I dedicated my no Trump vote to people breaking the school-to-prison pipeline, especially the mothers out there, but also the civic leaders, like your Hillary Clintons, like, your elected leaders who get that there's work that needs to be done in the school and education system, but the individuals in the community, parents, the aunts and uncles, whether they're blood or adopted aunts and uncles, who know that they need to be there for kids to help break that cycle. And so that's who I dedicated my No Trump vote to.
So let everybody know how to get in contact with you on social media, your Twitter handle, and all of that good stuff.
I'm at Jason W. George on Twitter, and I believe on Instagram, I think I'm Jason Winston George.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for spending some time with us. We really appreciate you coming to do our show.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you, Jason.
Or it was good letting y'all let me talk at you.